SLR Turbo 51 over here. I hope you're having a splendid day wherever you are in the world. Guys, we are back with the F1 2020 driver career mode, driving for Ferrari, driving for the Tifosi, and we are heading towards one of my favorite tracks on the F1 calendar, to where F1 was born. We are heading back to Britain to go to Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. You guys know you want to hit the like down below just for that single little fact there. No, not really. Please drop a like down below on the video, guys. It helps me out. You guys have no idea how much, so please, it's only gonna take you a nifty 2 seconds, so please do that. Now guys, you guys can see in the career mode I do skip the invitational events, but the reason I do that is because in the career mode it's not as important as in my team. And the career mode, this might be a stupid reason for you guys, but I think it's a legitimate reason. I want to play the career mode like I've been playing the career mode for the past 3 F1 games. The invitational events don't mean much. Yes, you do get a claim, but other than that, they don't really mean much in this year's game as well for career mode specifically. So I'm not going to do the invitational events within career mode, but within my team, you guys will see the invitational events. In any case, also then it's going to be like you guys are going to see the invitational events done double, like the double trouble. You're going to rewatch an invitational event, and that's boring. So yeah, guys, heading towards the performance short. It is still Mercedes leading the way from myself from Ferrari, where I am founded within. In P2, Red Bull P3, we have all three plateaued a bit. Racing Point P4, Alpha Tauri is now in P5, with Renault P6, Alfa Romeo Racing P7, McLaren is in P8, Haas P9, and Williams is in P10. Guys, with only 4 races left for the season, this race included, it is truly and honestly a very stressful time for this career mode. I really didn't realize how quickly we were going to run through the races, and I'm not gonna lie, I am quite stressed. I still want to try and fight for the Drivers' World Championship, as well as the Constructors for Ferrari alongside my teammate Sebastian Vettel, and it's really not going to be the easiest task. Now guys, also please follow me on social media. Don't forget to share this video with your friends. Tag me in the post or the story, and I will give you a shout out in a future video, as we have a massive tag slapper there going through cops. If you guys don't believe me when I tell you guys I do give people shout outs, go watch the previous career mode episode where we drive for Ferrari and see, go watch the end, and you guys will have proof that I do give people shout outs. But guys, heading in towards this weekend at Silverstone, I made a lot of mistakes during practice, and this was the biggest one yet. I think we have crashed this Ferrari more than any other Ferrari driver in history. Seriously. And this, heading through Maggots and Beckett's, one of my favorite sections of any track on the F1 calendar. Yeah, I just overcooked it a little bit too much, and I completely bashed the car against the wall. Ferrari, I think, are really not in love with us at this stage. As you guys can see, heading towards qualifying, we are not in the best of moods, and we are also carrying a heavily worn engine. So we are going to repurchase this one final upgrade that did indeed fail. So now we have, when the race is done, we're going to have a significant amount of resource points to buy another upgrade. But yeah guys, let's head straight to quali. I am looking very forward to this one. We are already in qualifying, guys, because the little quali intro, like with my replays.
When you're ready, let's go.
Well, recordings was a little bit jumpy, so we are jumping straight into qualifying without a little intro, so I apologize for that. The setting of the mood has been a little bit forced, but it's okay. Luckily, it's a YouTube video.
Come into the pits at the end of this lap.
That is the idea, Jeff. Guys, at the end of our first lap, guys, one thing that I need to tell you guys, we are running with a heavily worn engine this weekend. I'm trying to avoid engine penalties for the season, guys, because the season is so short, but the car is massively down on power. Not because of the nerf that has still not yet been given to us in an update. The car is running with a massively worn engine, so we are going to have to be very careful throughout this weekend. And you guys can already see I am struggling in qualifying. I am barely matching the Red Bulls, and even the midfielders are actually biting at my heels. So
Checks complete. We're ready.
So I'm really stressed for this race because Silverstone is a power-hungry track. You need to have a good power unit, and I don't have enough engine parts to keep it to the end of the season if I did well use a newer engine for this race. So I had to bite the bullet, and in the final 3 rounds, hopefully something goes our way. But as you guys can see here now, we are heading onto our final lap here in qualifying, and as we head in towards left field, you guys can see that you guys can even see in the straight, I am down on speed, on top end speed. And guys, the car truly felt slow. The car, I could feel the power Ooh, sorry, I keep having hiccups, sorry. The car, I could feel the power disadvantage. I could feel that the car had less power, and that's not a good thing. We head into cops flat out through here. Don't you even dare lift going through cops. And as you guys see here now, heading in towards Maggots and Beckett's, it's a left, into a right, into another left, once again into another right. And from here on halfway through, you plant the power through, doing an average of 4.8 G running through there. Hashtag F1 2020 British Grand Prix actual statistics. That's a very long hashtag, but who cares? We put an average of 4.8 G heading through Maggots and Beckett's. Head to the final part here of the lap. Very tight final chicane, but get the power down as early as possible as you come out of the chicane. Mount the curb on the outside, power down, and it's going to be P!
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. Hamilton, Vettel and Valtteri Bottas. Goodbye for now then, but we're really just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
Ay, 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 ay. You guys can see, I'm struggling with a very bad engine. This is gonna be a very, very long race.
Great Britain then, one of only 2 countries to have held a Grand Prix in every single year of the Formula One World Championship. And the circuit extends that record further for today's Grand Prix. The 3.6-mile-long Silverstone circuit is one of the longest of the season, with 18 corners in the current layout. With average lap speeds reaching around 145 miles per hour, it's also one of the quickest tracks of the year. Watch out for cars taking the right-handers of Abbey and Copse flat out. Alongside me to discuss all the action today is Anthony Davidson. Thanks for joining us, Ant, and tell me, you were down in the pit lane earlier. How do you think the track conditions are today?
Well, the surface looks clean enough, but I'm a little bit worried about the track temperature. It's pretty cool out there, which could give some teams difficulties when it comes to keeping their tyres in the right operating window. The cars out there that work their tyres hard and really put a lot of energy through them, they'll be the ones that are better off.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, with Sebastian Vettel starting alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Albon, Sergio Perez, and Verstappen, Kvyat, Stroll, Parker, and Carlos Sainz. Ricciardo, Norris, Esteban Ocon, and Raikkonen, Gasly, Magnussen, Romain Grosjean, and Antonio Giovinazzi, Russell, and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Jeff, that is the idea for this weekend. But guys, like I said before the race intro started, it's gonna be very, very tough with this one engine. Guys, I'm just aiming for another top 5, and then the final 3 Grand Prix, we're going to have to go for the wins. We don't have any other choice if we want to salvage our championship hopes. But guys, without further ado, you know the drill. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and jam with me on the formation lap. Yeah! for the British Grand Prix. A tough one ahead of us today. 5 red lights, and it's go, go, go for the British Grand Prix. My teammate is on the front row alongside Lewis Hamilton for his own Grand Prix. Here we go, heading into the first quarter. It is Hamilton leading the way from Vettel in P2. We've got Alex Albon in P3, Bottas P4. Then you've got a Racing Point at P5. We've already gotten ourselves up into P6. We are right behind the Racing Point, going for a very audacious dive there up the inside. We will jump back to a replay of that in just a second. But Hamilton is leading his home Grand Prix from Sebastian Vettel in P2. As we head towards Luffield, we've got Albon in P3 driving much better than his teammate at this stage of the season, in my opinion. Verstappen is really not having a very good season thus far. He's truly having a pandemic season. Hashtag pun intended. You guys can see, there we go, now heading back onto our start, onto our POV for our start. You have to see, I get a fantastic launch off of the line. We've got Kvyat at Stroll, Kvyat ahead of us, Stroll on our inside. Heading into the first quarter, we go right around the outside of Kvyat and Verstappen, as we are now behind Perez. Into the corner, very tight, braking very late onto the rear end of Stroll, of Perez. And as you guys see, I just go for a very audacious dive up the inside, and we are now in the top 5. The question is, can we hang on to Bottas with this heavily worn engine? You guys are already going to see in a straight line, we are down on power. I cannot shake that bloody Racing Point behind me. You guys are going to have a glimpse of that right now. We are trying to latch onto the back of Bottas, but guys, it is, as we have a little twitch there coming out of Luffield, heading now towards Cops. You guys can see, look at that. Perez is already all over my rear end, trying to get that pink Mercedes ahead of us. I mean Racing Point. I mean Racing Point. You know, guys, I'm sorry. I just can't help but make that joke every video. You guys can see how we jump into the POV of Alexander Albon. He is under pressure from Valtteri Bottas, who's trying to take the podium place away from the youngster. We are under pressure from Perez in the background, but there is so much that can still happen in this very, very long-awaited British Grand Prix. Here we go. Hamilton through into the final section of the track, and he will complete lap 1 in the lead of his home Grand Prix. Hamilton P1, Vettel P2, Albon P3, Bottas P4, myself P5, Perez P6. I think Verstappen is in P7. No, it's actually Kvyat P7 and Verstappen in P8. We now jump onto a very later in the race, guys. Stuff really quickly calmed down, and people weren't going for crazy audacious moves like I thought they would. Here around Silverstone, but we've got Bottas right behind Alexander Albon, and he is swerving around to try and get that Mercedes ahead of Albon, heading into Beckett. What a move from the Finn! What a move from Valtteri Bottas on Albon there. That was absolutely fantastically done from the second flying Finn. I think he will become the official flying Finn when Kimi Räikkönen eventually retires, guys. And I don't think that's that's far away. It is not far away in the future. You guys see here comes Perez to try and make a move on me for P5. Once again, at Maggots and Beckett, just like Bottas. Ooh. Okay, that was a little bit aggressive from my side, but guys, I am desperate to hang on to this P5. You guys have got no idea. I was and still is and still am. I was and still is very desperate. You guys know, I know you guys in the comments. I can see what you guys say in the comments. I know you guys laugh at my grammar mistakes, but if that is what entertains you, I'm gonna have grammar mistakes every episode. Trust me, not on purpose. I'm just gonna have grammar mistakes because that is part of being South African. You guys can see here now, we are back on board with Lewis Hamilton as he is diving into the pit lane, as he has got a solid lead over Vettel in P2. Vettel also dives into the pit lane for his pit stop. And guys, I saw on my screen that Vettel was coming in for a pit stop, but my tires, especially my left front, was starting to die, and was starting to die quickly. So I told Ferrari that we are double stacking. I was willing to take the punch on the chin to have a little bit of a slower pit stop, but I couldn't. 1 lap longer would have cost me more than just a longer pit stop. So you guys see, there we go. We are onto our POV for a split second. There we get it back. It's myself, Kvyat, Verstappen. We've even got the McLaren and the Racing Point in here. We go onto the POV of Gasly. And guys, obviously my pit stop was going to be a little bit longer. And Kvyat comes out in front of us. But luckily we can now stick in a slipstream. And knowing that the Honda power unit is not the best power unit that there is, we can stick with him and hopefully wait till he makes a mistake and go for a move to get back our well-deserved P5 after a fantastic start at the beginning of the race. You guys can't lie, I had a fantastic start at the beginning of this very, very nice British Grand Prix. You guys see, there comes Bottas into the pit lane along with Albon. These guys are going also for the one stop from softs to mediums, which I do as well. There was a few drivers that were going for the hard tire strategy, guys, but it really isn't good. You guys know, since you guys have known me on YouTube, the hard tires through every F1 game is pathetic around Silverstone. It's one of the tracks where the hard tire is the most useless. Like, seriously, that's not even a joke. I refuse to use the hard tires here around Silverstone unless it's completely necessary. But as you guys see, finally we have stuck with Danny Kvyat and heading through Maggots and Beckett's, the part of the track where I have the most confidence but also kill my tires the most, is where I'm now trying to size up a move on Danny Kvyat as we head down the hanger straight. Here we go on Kvyat, going to the inside. Here we go into the next corner. It's very close. We have a little bit late onto the brakes. We park the car on the apex, and that is us back up into provisional P5 of the British Grand Prix. I know you guys saw that we were in P8, but as soon as all the pit stops are done and dusted, we will be back in P5. And as you guys can see, at this stage, I had a good rhythm and pace going for myself, and I was starting to pull away from Kvyat, but then Lance Stroll came along. And he was like, you know, no. I want to chase the Ferrari. I want to chase the Ferrari. And what did Stroll do? He chased the Ferrari. And I was not appreciating this because that thing is stupidly fast in a straight line. Here we go. I thought I was going to be fighting with Perez. Nevertheless, I was going to fight with Stroll. Yeah, I'm fighting Lance Stroll in a Ferrari. What? Ah, boy, this is not making sense to me. But guys, when the patch comes in to nerf the Ferrari, this is the type of fights we're gonna be in. So you never know. We might just be getting used to what it is like in the midfield. As we now jump onto the second AlphaTauri of Pierre Gasly, who has had a mechanical failure of some sort with his car, and he is out of the British Grand Prix. It's a sad day for Pierre Gasly. But guys, with all this happening at the front, Hamilton was destroying the rest of the field. Vettel was not close to Hamilton. And yeah, we are now starting the final lap of the British Grand Prix, because there was just, besides our race, there wasn't really a lot of action, which to me was quite sad. Because if you guys remember back to previous games, F1 2019 especially, but also to a bigger extent than this, F1 2018, the British Grand Prix is usually action-packed with overtakes coming non-stop. So I'm not gonna lie, from a gamer's perspective who loves this game, who has always looked forward to this race, I was heavily disappointed that there was so minimal action throughout this British Grand Prix. But it's Hamilton who's going to take the win for Mercedes. Vettel is going to come home in P2 for us and Ferrari, so it's at least a good point scoring day for Ferrari. But Mercedes are going to have it at 1 and 3. We are smoking? Guys, are we on fire? Oh boy, okay, we are smoking. You guys know that I told you guys during qualifying we've got a heavily worn engine. Guys, we're smoking. How have we not yet gotten the black flag to pull the car to the side? Usually if the cars smoke, they're not allowed to race. It's a hazard for the drivers behind you. So where's the black flag? I'm not complaining. I'm not asking for the black flag. I mean, if I get the black flag, I'm gonna cry. But, okay, Hamilton wins, Vettel comes P2, Bottas P3, Albon is gonna get a solid P4. Are we gonna hang on to P5 with a car that's basically starting to catch fire? I wonder what part of my engine is actually failing. But, guys, it's definitely, that engine is it's on its way out. It's on its final legs. But I don't know how. We are gonna finish the British Grand Prix in P5. But we're going to finish the Grand Prix in smoking fashion and not the type of donut smoke we are used to. Great googly moogly.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
The Mercedes team pulled out a fantastic performance today. They should be proud. Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. More points for Valtteri Bottas, further solidifying his lead at the top of the table. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Anthony Davidson, who do you pick?
It's got to be Lewis Hamilton. I mean, he pulled off some impressive feats out on the track today, even by his standards.
Let's move on to the constructors. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Oh my goodness. Guys, we finished that race with a smoking car. I'm gonna show you guys just in a few minutes what was the part that was starting to let go. I've never finished a race with a smoking car. I've had practice sessions where I used the worn engine towards its final legs and the engine started smoking. But I've never finished a race where my engine nearly gave way. And guys, the part that was failing, yeah, it's a part that's supposed to be heavily durable, but on the Ferrari, clearly is not. This is a very big stress factor for the rest of the season. Guys, I might have to take an engine penalty for the next race. I might have to, either here or in Italy. We're heading towards Spa next for Belgium, and then we're heading towards Monza for the Italian Grand Prix. Guys, look at that. Our control electronics was on 96% wear. That is frightening. That's frightening. Yee! Scooby-Dooby-Doo! Sorry, I love Scooby-Doo. But guys, that is really not a welcomed sight in my opinion. 96%. Guys, that means we didn't have anything more than 10 laps left. If this was a 100% race, we would not have finished the British Grand Prix. We wouldn't have. That part would have completely just said kaput, and we would have been out of the British Grand Prix. So we are counting our lucky stars, and I think we just used up like half of them. Like, I'm not even lying. But guys, oh my goodness. That was crazy. The championship is still far from done, but it is starting to look a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? It's starting to dim a bit. Our championship hopes are starting to dim because we are the past 3 races, we have not put in the results that we have needed. So the final 3 races of the season, we've only got 3 races to go, guys. We are gonna have to pull our finger out of our hiney and show what we are made of. But guys, that has been this very interesting, very panic-filled episode of our F1 2020 career mode. Guys, if you haven't done it yet, please drop a like down below on the video. It's only going to take you a nifty 2 seconds, and it helps me out more than you will ever realize. Please, don't forget to follow me on social media. Links in the description down below. Also, make sure to share this video with your friends. Tag me in the post or the story, and I will give you a shout out in a future video as well as on social media. I gave people a shout out, like I said earlier in the video, in the previous career mode video. So please, share, and you will get a shout out. And guys, finally, if you haven't hit the subscribe yet and haven't dinged that bell, I'm not even gonna over-exaggerate. What are you doing? I can't help myself. Hit the subscribe down below. Don't forget to ding that bell to never miss a future episode here on TurboFox Races. I love you guys. Thank you so much for staying till the end. You guys are a fantastic fan base. I will see y'all next time when we head to Spa. Cheers!